Hello everybody. Hello YouTube. Hello art history enthusiasts and visual culture aficionados. It's me again, Miss M, and I'm back with yet another video. This time it's going to be a little different. This time it's going to be a little different because I have been changed as a person. It's all based on this video. The video I did last night, I brought you all those, well, not all those, but 3 articles that have to do with The Shining and, Stephen King bitching about everything, and the 20 Facts article, and the article about Jack Nicholson writing the scene with the typewriter when the Jack Torrance character is very mean to Wendy in the Colorado Lounge. Anyway, in the comments under that video, had a cute little exchange here with Rich in Law and Tankard of Tales. And as you can see, if you go look, we were talking about Eraserhead. And the reason we were talking about Eraserhead, if you didn't watch my video or whatever, is because Stanley Kubrick made the cast of The Shining watch Eraserhead, and that was in one of the articles I read. That's a fact or a factoid about the creation of The Shining. Stanley Kubrick making everybody watch Eraserhead, and I said, okay, all right. And so here we are. Rich in Law says that he couldn't handle it and walked out of the film around 20 minutes in. I can see why, Rich in Law. I really can. And then recently, Rich in Law tried to watch it, and he made it about 35 minutes. Okay, you know what? That's not bad. That's not bad, because one thing you need when you're watching Eraserhead by David Lynch is patience. Oh my God. It's about an hour and a half movie. It's about an hour and a half movie. And the whole time you don't quite know what's going on. Okay? And then here's Tankard, and he said he lolls and he talks about the Chainsaw Massacre and whatever. Hold on. And there are many elements that's in Eraserhead that was added into The Shining, and in a way, The Shining is like a David Lynch film, Blue Velvet and Up. You can see The Shining referenced in those David Lynch films. You know what, Tankard? I'm going to agree with you, and I'm going to add one more little thing. I think that The Shining was, seriously influenced by Eraserhead. I really do. Tankard here says, Eraserhead is definitely a painting on a screen. That's a good way to describe it. I just watched it tonight, and I said here, all right, damn it. I'm watching Eraserhead tonight, and of course you're going to get my reaction in video form. This is it. It's thanks to you guys, Rich and Law and Tankard, but also because Stanley considered it required viewing. Can't argue with one of the best filmmakers of all time. I really can't. I can't argue with him. No. But before I get into it, my reaction to the movie and what have you, I'm going to do my church announcements. Get that out the way. New viewers, thank you for being new. Returning viewers, thank you for returning. Subscribers, all 332 of you. I lost one overnight. Thank you for subscribing. All of you, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share the video with emphasis on the liking part. And that's it. That's all I'm going to say with regard to, church announcements, administrative, hooey, So I watched this thing. Let me see. Yeah, here it is. Here's the copy that I watched. I guess you know where I'm watching it on. I mean, I don't have to be that secretive. But I paused it on this particular frame of the movie. It's on this copy. Again, you can probably figure out where it's from. It's 1 hour, 15 minutes, and 37 seconds in. And he's coming back from, he tries to check if the pretty woman who lives across the hall from him, if she's at home. And she knocks on the door. She's not there. And look at the number on the door. is only one number missing between the 2 and the 7, don't you think? And also, another thing I noticed about Henry's apartment in this movie is that the door to the bathroom, if I'm not mistaken, I just finished watching this thing and my brain is kind of like, it's still in the spin cycle. But, you know, my brain was washed. It's still in the spin cycle. What I noticed at the door to the bathroom is right next to the bed in Henry, is it Spencer's apartment? Hold on. Let me see. Cast. Yeah, Jack Nance as Henry Spencer. Okay. I don't know how people usually react to this movie. I loved it. I freaking loved it. Tankard, Rich in Law, Anno, all my Exorcist reviews, all my good people. Everybody who's listening to this, I love this thing. Tell me what that means. Is there something wrong with me? Is there something like, am I okay in the head? I mean, it's not about enjoyment. It's not about enjoyment. No, it's about love. Yeah. I just thought this was an amazing movie. And, you know, I don't know if I want to go through the plot. Here's the plot if you want to read it. If you've never seen it before, yeah, go ahead and read this because, yeah, just read it. And it's not going to spoil the movie for you. I can guarantee you that. Even if you read this whole plot summary on Wikipedia, it's not going to spoil the movie for you, not even a little bit. Let me go ahead and read it for you while I'm here. Okay, so here it is, Eraserhead. Eraserhead is a 1977 American surrealist horror film. The surrealism part, I can see that, but horror? It's not a horror film to me, but whatever. American surrealist horror film written, directed, and produced, and edited by David Lynch. Lynch also created its score and sound design, which included pieces by a variety of other musicians. Shot in black and white, it was Lynch's first feature-length effort following several short films starring Jack Nance, Charlotte Stewart, Jean Bates, Judith Anna Roberts. I looked her up because I said that face looks so familiar, but I can't quite place it. I think she's been in a couple of horror movies. Ooh, boy. Laurel Neer and Jack Fisk. It tells the story of a man who is left to care for his grossly deformed child in a desolate industrial landscape. I have a little bit of a problem with this description, but let me get through the plot before I add my own, I guess, commentary. The plot, here it is. The man in the planet, that deformed-looking man, if you watch the movie, is moving levers in his home in space, while the head of Henry Spencer floats in the sky, a spermatozoon-like creature. Oh yeah, there it is. Emerges from Spencer's mouth, floating into the void. In an industrial cityscape. Okay. Spencer walks home with his groceries. He is stopped outside his apartment by the beautiful girl across the hall, who informs him that his girlfriend, Mary X, has invited him to dinner with her family. Spencer leaves his groceries in his apartment, which is filled with piles of dirt and dead vegetation. That night, Spencer visits X's home, conversing awkwardly with her mother. Yeah, that mother is weird. At the dinner table, he is asked to carve a chicken that X's father has made. Oh boy. The bird moves and writhes on the plate and gushes blood when cut. After dinner, Spencer is cornered by X's mother, who tries to kiss him. She tells him that X has had his child and that the two must marry. X, however, is not sure if what she bore is a child. Eugh. The couple move into Spencer's one-room apartment and begin caring for the child, a swaddled bundle with an inhuman, snake-like face resembling the spermatozoon-like creature seen earlier. The infant refuses all food, crying incessantly and intolerably. The sound drives X hysterical, and she leaves Spencer and the child. Spencer attempts to care for the child, and he learns that it struggles to breathe and has developed painful sores. Spencer begins experiencing visions, again seeing the man in the planet, as well as the lady in the radiator, who sings to him as she stomps upon miniature replicas of Spencer's child. After a sexual encounter with the beautiful girl across the hall, Spencer has another vision. The lady in the radiator sings, "In heaven everything is fine," as Spencer watches his own head fall off, revealing a stump underneath that resembles the child's face. Spencer's head falls from the sky, landing on a street and breaking open. A boy finds it, bringing it to a pencil factory to be turned into erasers. Are you following this? Okay. It's even weirder when you watch it. I'll just put it that way. Awakened, Spencer seeks out the beautiful girl across the hall, but finds her with another man. Oh, she's a hoe. Crushed, Spencer returns to his room. He takes a pair of scissors and for the first time removes the child's swaddling clothes. It is revealed that the child has no skin. The bandages held its internal organs together, and they split apart after the rags are cut. The child gasps in pain, and Spencer stabs its organs with the scissors. The wounds gushed a thick liquid covering the child. Kind of like that chicken at the dinner table at Mary X's house. Okay. The power in the room overloads, causing the lights to flicker. As they flick on and off, the child grows to huge proportions. As the light burns out completely, the child's head is replaced by the planet seen at the beginning. Spencer appears amidst a billowing cloud of eraser shavings. The side of the planet bursts apart, and inside, the man in the planet struggles with his levers, which are now emitting sparks. Spencer is embraced warmly by the lady in the radiator, as both white light and white noise build to a crescendo before the screen turns black and silent. Okay, listen. This plot summary sounds weird. The movie is even weirder. And I can see, though, why Stanley Kubrick probably liked this movie and wanted everybody to see it, all of the cast to watch it in preparation for making The Shining. I don't know if I'm going to try to, interpret Eraserhead in this video, but what I will say is David Lynch more or less proved in this movie that you could totally make a whole movie with just using symbolism. Just using symbolism, and that's basically it. There's really not a lot of dialogue in this movie. You could watch the whole, it could be a silent movie. It wouldn't be the same because the sound of the things making noise, the doors opening, and that hissing sound, that kind of the undercurrent of the whole thing, that's a big part of the movie. But, it doesn't, it has hardly any dialogue, lots of noises and sounds, but not very many of those sounds are words being spoken by the actors. What is my initial gut reaction? David Lynch is expressing his opinion in this movie. I think David Lynch is trying to tell you and me, the viewer, that something is very, very, very wrong with the world that we live in. It does nothing about our world and the way we live it makes, in our world and our lives and the way we live our lives makes any sense. None of it makes any sense. We're surrounded by crap. Henry and the X's and all these people live in this industrial wasteland. It says here industrial cityscape. No. I know an oil refinery when I see one. That's what I saw when I looked at the location where Henry and all these other people live in this movie. That is just Yeah, I've seen plenty of that before, so I know it when I see it. Henry happens to be a printer. That's his profession in the movie, and he happens to be on vacation. Um, you know, what is that telling us? Printing is about, making books, things that people used to use to educate themselves. And Henry, that's his profession, and he's not doing it. He's somebody whose life revolves around creating reading materials. And this movie is an extremely postmodern movie. And kind of, with regard to like modern art, most of the 20th century, and then postmodern art from like late 70s, not late 70s, late 60s, early 70s onward. It's about not necessarily the destruction of language, but it definitely is about the reassessment of language, what it means, what its real place is, what its role has been since its invention. And its invention is all the way back, as far as we know, all the way back to Mesopotamia. Okay, the cradle of civilization between the Tigris and the Euphrates rivers, the cuneiform characters in the clay. That's the first appearance of writing, and the printing press, Johann Gutenberg, and that's one of the reasons why the Renaissance was such an exciting time. Like, that's when I think Johann really got going with his printing press, and then it became easier to disseminate ideas in written form, text, on paper, printed materials, and just sort of send them all over the place. And that included pictures as well. So, printing, etching, things like that. Excuse me. There's a lot going on in this movie. Those piles of dirt that are mentioned in this plot summary, those piles of dirt are, I guess, the remnants of life as maybe it should be lived. Yeah, dirt and those branches, and it says dead vegetation, piles of dirt and dead vegetation. I guess they're saying dead because there's no leaves on any of it. But that doesn't necessarily mean it's dead. It might just mean that it's dormant. Like a tree, in the fall it drops all its leaves, and in the winter it's bare. And then here comes springtime, and here comes the leaves again. So, that's quite an assumption that it's dead. But there's dirt on his nightstand with this like little sapling thing growing out of it. There's one in the hallway of the apartment between his apartment and the beautiful lady's apartment. There is dirt under the radiator. So I think all of that dirt symbolizes nature and where man, humankind comes from. All right. There's a lot going on. Oh, there's a lot going on, and I don't have the time or the energy or the strength to go through it all like I would with The Shining. I'm a little too meticulous when I evaluate something or analyze something. So this is a nightmare for me, not being able to do this. I don't know if I want to devote another video to analyzing the symbolism in Eraserhead, the eraser thing, how they made, they made pencil erasers out of, like they drilled into Henry's head, pulled out like a stick from his head, and that stick, I guess it was rubber, so they made erasers from it and attached it to pencils. So eraser means, there's a mistake. There's a mistake. Some mistake has been made. Somebody made a mistake. Who made the mistake? I don't know. But that's what the saying is, don't worry about making mistakes. That's what erasers are for. That's why pencils have erasers. So I don't know if you've ever heard that expression, but that's the first thing that came into my mind when I saw them making erasers from his head. And a little boy finds it, and they paid the little boy for access to Henry's head that he found on the street. And there's so much going on. There's so much going on. His girlfriend, or then wife, Mary X, And the woman across the hall, and that's another reason I think Stanley wanted everybody to watch it. The quote-unquote love scene with Henry and the woman across the hall, it takes place like the bed in his one-bedroom apartment. It turns into kind of like there's water. It looks like a very narrow kind of, I don't know, bathtub or hot tub or something like that. And they start kissing, and then they kind of disappear into the water. And it's very reminiscent of the scene in the bathroom with Jack Nicholson and the naked lady in room 237 in The Shining. That can't be denied. What does it mean? His coupling with that woman? I don't know. What does it mean that he got together with Mary and they produced the quote-unquote child, which I don't think is a child at all. And I'm not saying I don't think it's a child because it looks monstrous, but I don't think it's supposed to the child isn't supposed to represent like anything to do with families or maybe it is like in this modern world, in this world where all of us live in this industrial wasteland, polluted industrial wasteland where, everything's drab and gray and filthy and contaminated. Like, can a healthy family even happen in that kind of an environment? I don't know. Maybe David Lynch is trying to answer that question in this movie. So Mary, she's got problems. Her family, crazy. The father is crazy. The mother is crazy. That grandmother that just sits in the kitchen, that crazy. Okay. The lady across the hall, she's no good either. There's like a femme fatale quality about her. Like she's trouble. And then there's like the lady in the radiator with the deformed face. She's very reminiscent of Marilyn Monroe, and she does her little dance where she squashes the spermatozoons. Okay, she's squashing them. That means they should be squashed, or I don't know. I just don't know. And he ends up with her at the end of the movie. Is that a fantasy or a dream sequence? I don't know. And then there's like the man in the planet. He's deformed as hell. He's the one who's at the controls. He's the one that's pulling the levers. Who does he symbolize? Like, is he the powers that be? Is he government? Is he education? Is he religion? Is he, what does he represent? Is he like an ancient god or monster or whatever? But he's the one who kind of like kicks all of the events of the movie into motion just by pulling a couple of levers on his machine. Okay? And that baby creature thing. Oof. I don't know. The baby creature thing is a product of, like, again, this polluted world that we live in. And I don't mean just polluted air and water. I mean our minds have been polluted by something. Something. And is it the guy at the controls? The lever man? The man in the planet? I don't know. I just don't know. But, that's my first reaction to this movie. I can definitely see why Stanley wanted his cast to watch it. Maybe he was trying to send a message to the cast of The Shining. Jack Nicholson, Shelley Duvall, everybody. I don't know if the kid watched it. If the kid watched it, I don't see a big problem with the kid watching it. There's like no violence, no nudity, nothing really like scandalous. So, he wanted to show his cast of actors, maybe even the production people too, lighting people, design people, whoever. I think he was trying to show them, like, this is what I'm going for. Like, he was trying to tell them that, like, this is what he wanted to do with The Shining, just not as, like, film noirish as Eraserhead. Like, The Shining, you can see everything. With Eraserhead, there's a lot of darkness that then turns into light. And then it gets shadowy again, and then David Lynch plays with light and shadows a lot in Eraserhead. With The Shining, like hardly anything happened. There's no dark. There's a dimly lit room, kind of like the Gold Room or the Torrance's apartment at night. But all the shit you see in The Shining is stuff you can see because there's a light source. There's always a light source in The Shining. But anyway, and another thing that I wanted to mention, when I started watching Eraserhead, when I first saw Henry, like walking around with his little bag of groceries, the first thing he reminded me of, let me go find a better picture. I'm talking and you have to look at this. The first thing that he reminded me of was like Charlie Chaplin. His walk and everything, kind of like, Charlie Chaplin's character, the tramp. I don't think that that's an accident, but that's just me. He's obviously poor. He obviously doesn't have very much money. He lives in his apartment is a bedroom. Period. There's no kitchen. There's no living room. There's no no, it's just a bedroom. A bedroom with a messed up, blanket on the bed with holes in it. There's that bathroom right next to the bed. So again, another similarity to The Shining. I think that's why Stanley Kubrick put the bathroom in the Torrance's apartment, right next to the bed where Jack and Wendy sleep. I don't know. I really don't. And there's a radiator. I think there are radiators in The Shining too. The lady in the radiator. My goodness. It's just weird. And again, David Lynch plays a lot with light, shadows, dark, blaring, overpowering light. This lamp. I don't even know what to think about this. What in the world is this? And what is he trying to say with this? This is an exploration of the human unconscious mind. And he's trying to tell a story by using elements of the human unconscious mind that, we all have it. We all use it, each in our own special way. Like the things that you and me and everybody sees on a day-to-day basis. It gets filed away in your brain. You have filing cabinets in your brain. And then when you fall asleep, this is the way I was taught it. When you fall asleep, your conscious mind falls asleep, and then your unconscious mind wakes. It's always working, but when you fall asleep, it really goes to town and really gets comfortable and does what it really wants to do. And that's why your dreams are such a mess. And one person turns into another person, turns into an animal, turns into nothing, appears, disappears. The laws of physics don't mean shit in your dreams. Stuff like that. And this is what people like David Lynch and Stanley Kubrick are trying to use in their movies, and with whatever database of symbols and iconography that they have at their disposal, that they know about, and incorporate those into their movies in order to teach you, the viewer, something about existence, about the way the world works, about life, about whatever. That's what people like David Lynch and Stanley Kubrick are trying to do. And, per my video yesterday, people like Stephen King, they just don't understand. They're too dense. They are way too dense to understand, the magic of somebody like a Stanley Kubrick or a David Lynch. No, he just wants it to be faithful to his novel. Oh my God. I'm still whatchamacallit? I'm still I can't believe he's that petty. I can't believe 43 years later that idiot is still holding a grudge. But that was yesterday's video about these articles. So you guys, I'll show you this again. I don't know what thumbnail I'm going to use. I don't know, what else to say. I just got done. Just before I started making this video, I just got done watching Eraserhead. I'm glad I finally did. I don't know what took me so long. But yeah, you need patience to watch this movie. And this is just my first time watching it. I know I'm going to be coming back to this movie. So, is David Lynch. He's using symbolism, but is he using it in language as well as the objects, items, things scenes, whatever that he shows you in the movie. I have to think about that. I have so much to think about now. So you guys, let me just stop talking about anything. I'm going to reiterate my church announcements. New viewers, thank you for being new. Returning viewers, thank you for returning. Subscribers, thank you for subscribing. Please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share these videos if you know somebody who might enjoy them. And especially, don't forget to like them. That's allegedly supposed to help me. If you guys have any ideas for like any more movies that I should watch, I'm going to try and get to work Tancred. I'm going to try and get to work on your list, like Images and all those other movies that you were talking about. I'm going to have to track them down and watch them so we can have like a good conversation about it. Like one where I'm informed about what I'm saying. Then I'll do that. Otherwise, you guys, I think I've said everything that I wanted to say, everything that I needed to say in my review/reaction of Eraserhead from 1977 by David Lynch. I don't know if I'll be making another video tomorrow. I might be kind of busy, but soon. The Shining Part 10. Understanding The Shining is coming soon. So stay tuned for that. Until then, until next time, when I find yet another reason to talk at you, I'm gonna go ahead and bid you bye-bye. So, bye-bye, everybody.